it to interviewing, because that's where my bread and butter lies. My role as a recruiter is I'm the one that you talk to first. You got to get through me to get to meet with them. So I want to give you some tips and tricks on how to do that. How do you get past? Yes. You bet. Yep, we will share all of this. You know how you filled out all that registration online and in person? That's because it's inbound marketing. We got your information. We're coming back to you. And believe it or not, I'm coming for you. So that you showing your effort means that I'm going to come and I'm going to have a conversation with you, because that shows a lot more of that sales desire that we're looking for, that gumption. Even if it's not sales that you're looking for, I still want to have a conversation with you. But I hope it is, because that's why we're here. So I'm going to give you some information. I'm going to do this at warp speed. And the reason I want to do that is because networking is so important. And so I want to make sure that you get the chance to do that. So bear with me. I will try not to go too fast, but I will do what I could, because we wanted to focus in on that role play, because we know how important that is in this process. And I want to give a shout out to Prince, and I want to give a shout out to Sebastian. You stood up, you got in front of the group. Yep, and I'm seeing some snaps. I don't think Sebastian can see that, but I'm giving snaps. So, all right. First and foremost, what's our goal today? We're going to talk really quickly about the current market landscape and what we're facing. We're also going to talk about the role and understanding what the BDR position is. You already understand that from all of our contacts with our panel. We're going to talk about application optimization and the interview journey. And most fortunately, we've already covered the role play. So you already are masters. You know you're going to knock it out of the park, but we're going to talk about it a little bit. All right. So market trends, what are we seeing? Now, notice that I did put the 2025 date in there, because everything changed and everybody knows why, right? We got a disruptor. What is that disruptor? AI, you're right. And so everything is changing. So we want to stay on top of trends, especially because now you're coming into a market where nobody really knows how this is going to impact us. So we want to be prepared. And I want to tell you what you're facing, okay? Now, recruiters are moving away from the spray and pray line. You want to know why? There's bots, AI bots, and they like to apply. And so we need to spend a lot more time looking at you. We're coming for you. All you online, all you in person, this is how you are going to get noticed. You're taking that extra step. You're going outside of I'm just going to drop my application at 10 different places. You're taking it to the next step. And tailoring your application is so important, because we want to get to know who you are. And I'll tell you why. Again, AI. Spoiler alert. I'll let you know more about that in a second. We are also looking at skills-based hiring. Now, we want to see what you demonstrate as a skill. Why? Because things are translatable. You may not have had the longest experience. You may not have been a recruiter like I have been for 12 years. You may be graduating in a couple months. You may be only worked at a fast food restaurant. Maybe you only babysat. Do you think you got skills because of those? We want to know them. You're right, 100%. You have skills. How do you translate that? How do you show that on your resume? You want to give us a good demonstration of those skills. So wording it is very important. And that's where, again, AI will come in and help. But because AI is a factor, regardless, before that, recruiters and interviewing teams were using applicant tracking systems. Not at HubSpot. I mean, we use it. Don't get me wrong, but we look at every single resume that we get. And we average about 2,500. So know that the average recruiter has 7 seconds to make an impression. You guys have given us how much of your time? I guarantee you I'm giving you more than 7 seconds. It's a tit for tat, right? So now you want to be able to get past those applicant tracking systems. So you need to think outside of the box. How do you do that? Don't say a cover letter, especially if it's going to be this thing that tells me exactly what's on your resume. Because at that point, I can read your resume. Tell me what makes you stand out if you're going to write a cover letter. Or come to one of these, come to an event. You got a quick question? Oh, no, you're fine. No, and I appreciate it. I'm going to ask questions at the end because once I get rolling, if I don't keep going, I lose it. So I want to make sure that I do that, especially because I want to get you to the networking. So, but yes, you definitely need to bring out your personality, whether it's showing it through your resume or showing it through a different application. But do realize that people are looking for you, your authentic self. Now, I know that the world it goes back and forth, remote, not remote, hybrid, in office, all those things. One thing, regardless of where you want to work, is that you need to be video ready, comfortable, being able to do these types of things. I mean, that role play Sebastian did virtually, that's not easy to do. But we put him on screen, he gave everything he got, and that really does represent, you're going to need to be able to have that kind of communication because the world is getting smaller. HubSpot has 10,000 employees all across the globe. My program manager is in Germany. So I literally have to be able to function that way outside of the space that I'm in. So know that you need to have that communication. Okay, all right, burning through this, the BDR program, the mission. We want to build the best sales team ever. And now I'm biased, I fully admit it. The orange gave me away, but I really believe in this team. I believe in what we are presenting, and I believe that we are giving you the foundations for a very effective sales career. So definitely know that that's our goals. The day-to-day, you're going to be doing high volume prospecting, no surprises based on the conversations we've already had. You're also going to be booking those qualified meetings and identifying those sales opportunities. We've been talking about that all night. I'm not going to harp on it any further. Now, the average BDR role, the average tenure is about 15 months. Have I seen it faster? Yes. Have I seen it slower? Yes. And both are okay because it's a learning opportunity. The BDR track itself is meant to teach you how to become a successful account executive. That's the ultimate goal because if you want to be successful, you got to learn the foundation, right? And that means that grit, that determination, that's very important. All right, now I did add the compensation on there because let's be honest, everybody wants to know what you're making. So we believe in equity. So you got the base, it's on-target earnings. So it's base plus variable, the base being fixed, meaning that's what you're going to get for sure. The variable, we have it uncapped. So if you go above quota, the sky's the limit. So this is based on if you're hitting quota, okay? All right, moving forward. Let's talk about resumes and LinkedIn best practices. Yes, I'm looking at you. Yes, I'm reading your LinkedIn. And does it match your resume? Does it tell me something new? Here's where your resume is going to tell me your skills. Your LinkedIn is going to tell me about you. Just like when you prospect your customers, I'm prospecting you. Recruitment is very tangential to sales in that way. So I'm looking at you. Keep your resume short and sweet. Let me just tell you, you don't need a ton of paragraph telling me about what you actually did in the job. Tell me what you accomplished. Tell me what actually made you you. Give me metrics. Metrics are a big thing. Things like quantifiable. I generated X amount of money. I did these numbers of things. This is what I'm hitting for my goals. If you don't have goals, figure out what skill you had and tell me how that could be quantified in a way that shows me how you attack something. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. But now here's where I'm going to get a little bit more interesting. Customization. I highly recommend when you're applying for jobs, remember where you're applying because you are going to want to keep that information because on job postings, everything you need to know to get past me is there. And that's where AI is going to come in to help you. And I'm going to talk about that. So put a pin in it, but remember this. Keep your job postings, remember who you applied to. And if you can keep the actual description, the better. Because I'm going to give you a little trick on how to get past me. Okay? All right. It's AI. Surprise! As if we haven't talked about that at all tonight. AI is an amazing tool, but it's also your worst enemy. And the reason I'm saying that is because everyone is using it the same way. I have seen the same resume over and over and over again because it's copy paste AI. This is what I want you to be authentic. Write down your resume, even if you don't know how to organize it. Put it together, put it in AI and say, help me structure this. Use it as a tool to help you become more efficient and clear. But then also, remember how I told you about that job posting? Take that, give it to AI and say, am I hitting my power verbs? Am I managing? Am I operating? Am I using strong language that matches what that job posting is looking for? Because that's going to help you customize that resume for that position. Does that make sense? I just want to touch for verification. All right, so use those power verbs, but definitely keep it more authentic. Keep it sharing your story, not everybody's story. And we do see it. We do know when we've seen AI come through. It's fine to use AI. I highly recommend it, but use it actively to benefit and show what you are able to bring to us, not what everybody else says. I've babysat, I've worked at the McDonald's. I now have my resume. Okay? All right, so that's the first thing I would tell you about how to navigate. But AI is a great tool, and I guarantee you, you all are leaps and bounds ahead of most of us because I had to do it the old-fashioned way. And not to call back to Ed, but I mean, we're asking you all, what are you doing? So this is an opportunity for you to showcase you, but don't make it you, okay? And when you're doing your interviewing, do know that we know if you're using the bots to answer your questions. It's authentic. We want to see authentic you. We're not expecting perfection. You heard it multiple times today. Perfection is not required. We want to see how you grow. That's the most important thing, okay? So if we get the most perfect answer, or we can tell that you are reading, we know you have put it in a bot. Bring your authentic self. We want to meet you. And you would be doing yourself a disservice because you're interviewing us as well. So you want to make sure that we are a match. Because if you're not happy, you're not going to be able to hit that quota and knock it out of the park and hit the 5,000 mark that Ed and Elena and Lauren were referring to, right? All right. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the actual interview process here for this BDR role. We are doing something I think is crazy cool. We built an AI interviewer. And so you are going to be able to interview with AI, which is intimidating, I'm sure, but it's also really interesting because you spend the first 20 minutes working through your interviewing because you're going to be dealing with answering questions that are going to come. And here's the great thing. Remember how I told you the AI in the interview process, how effective it can be? Use AI as an interviewer. It has a voice function. You can practice your interviews. So put into it. This allows you to showcase that you are able to effectively communicate. And then if you make it past that, you get to talk to me or my other team. And you get to actually have a conversation where it's going to be more personalized. The first couple questions are going to be about understanding what you're looking for, but we're going to actually want to talk and answer questions and really have that conversation. And then you get to go to the manager interview if you get past us. And that's where you have several behavioral questions and then the role play, which you are now experts on, right? Okay, now I'm going to reiterate this one more time. We are not looking for perfection when we get the coaching. The coaching is meant to be there for you to learn how to become more effective in what you just presented. We want to see that growth to the next step. So Really take the time to implement the feedback that the manager would give you in the role play, because that is what we're searching for. And again, perfection is not necessary. We want to see growth. Okay. All right. Any questions on that so far? Can I drop that any hotter? Nope. Okay. All right. And then the final round is going to be 2 half-hour interviews with different BDR managers, and they are behavioral based. And this is where you're going to want to talk about the attributes that we are trying to test you for. So things like resiliency, curiosity, sales desire, all of those things are going to ownership. That's a really important one too. Show us, you know what, here, I'm going to be really honest with you. How many times have you made a mistake? Has anybody else made a mistake or failed anything? I probably did it 18 times in the last 10 sentences. But what did I learn from it, right? Mistakes happen. We don't care that you failed. We want to know, how did you get past it? What did you learn? What was the impact? What can we bring to that understanding, right? Okay, so when you get the question, what's your weakness? Your weakness is not the big deal. We want to know, how do you move past it, right? And you're going to see that in any interview. All right, I'm giving you some tips and tricks now. Here's a big one. How many of you have heard of the STAR method? I love it. It is the best, most effective way to communicate a response. It gives the situation, what tells me, gives me the context of what happened. It tells me the task. What did you need to do? It's going to, but here's where the meat and the potato needs to come from. What action steps? What did you do about it? What did you learn about it comes last. What is the result and what is the impact? If you don't have a resolution, what did you learn? If you have a resolution, how did it impact, or what was the result? Were you successful? Were you unsuccessful? How would you face that situation again in the future? All right. And again, I put that authenticity. It's very important. Okay. All right. We already talked about this a little bit, the mock interviewing with the AI. Definitely do not hesitate to use it. This is where it's going to become a benefit for you. It's a great way to practice. Ask it to give you objections to overcome. And it's going to give you pointers on how to get over those objections. Timing, anything that you would think to say, what kind of objections would I see from a salesperson or from a customer? And then you will be able to present that. And it's a great way to practice. And you know what? If you didn't get to do the role play live tonight, give them the same kind of, go ahead and give them Gary. Share that simpler and say, hey, there's my customer, right? All right. And then have it give you feedback and say, okay, I want to try this again. So that way you can see what it's like to iterate and go back on that coaching and learn how to implement that feedback. See if it can give you that kind of information and help you navigate those things. It's a great tool. I wish I had it so I didn't have to say, hey, Vinny, help me do an interview. Can you practice a role play with me? So it's definitely a great way to get comfortable and practice, okay? All right, or get the role play partner. I'm sure you have some great friends. Or mom and dad. You know that they will, but they probably have more critiques. Okay, so the most important thing is mastering that cold call role play. Get the structure, we walked through it. Here's a big tip. Don't cram the night before. You're gonna be so uncomfortable because you're gonna feel like just when we put you on the spot here, you didn't have time to prepare. We will make sure as recruiters that you have that in your hand at the time, that as soon as possible. If we can give it to you a week in advance of your interview, we'll give it to you in a week in advance of your interview. If you don't see it and you've already booked an interview at that stage, write your recruiter. Say, hey, I didn't get this. I need this information. Don't wait till the interview and say, I didn't get it, because now you're crammed, right? So don't cram the night before. And again, remember, coachability is key. We're not looking for that perfection, okay? All right, and then as far as video etiquette, this is what we were kind of touching at the beginning. Find a quiet space where you can concentrate, that you can have clear thought and clear conversation and not be distracted. I'm the queen of squirrel. every single time somebody walks past my desk. They keep me remote for a reason. It's because I can't concentrate outside of it. Um, well, I figured out when I got here, every single time somebody walked by, I was like, ooh, ooh. So, but thank you for the compliment. Now, as far as engagement, be engaged, be active, give eye contact, look into the camera. Yes, you can look away and take notes. Yes, you can be constantly like any kind of feedback that you got today, the notes, the questions, do that, but make sure you give eyesight to the people that you're talking with because they're going to want to engage with you. And it's far more engaging if I'm looking you straight in the eye than if I'm not looking at you at all, right? Okay. And check your tech. This one is an amazing one because I am so bad at it. Genuinely, I find that if I get in a couple minutes early, I can test things out. I can make sure my Zoom link is working. And if, gosh forbid, something happened, I can reach out to my recruiter and say, hey, I don't have my Zoom link or my Zoom's not working. And then we can try to save the day, right? And then lastly, I am so known for having imposter syndrome. How many of you felt that one before? Yep, I know it. I have imposter syndrome. 82% of us do. And realize, again, we're not looking for perfection. Don't worry about presenting yourself. We want to get to know you. So don't feel like you are an imposter. Don't feel like you have to have a growth mindset. Seek out learning and growing. And most importantly, show us who you are. Okay? All right. Some attributes that we're looking for really quickly. Effective communication. I know we've covered that. Growth mindset. I know we've covered that. We want to think about the next step. Resiliency. How do you bounce back? You're going to hear no a lot in this role. But what do you do with that no? Do you stop at that or do you keep going? Or do you pick up your next phone call and make that your future yes without letting the previous no hold you back? What do you do with how do you move forward? Intellectual curiosity. Always asking what next? What else can I do? How can I make that next critical step? Is there something I'm missing? Is there something I could do differently? Ask for feedback, ask for coaching, talk to each other. Say, hey, what do you think I should do? That's one thing I love about the BDRs here, and I'm a little biased because they will actually do that. They will say, hey, what would you do? What would you do differently? Listen to what I said. Here's the gong recording. So don't be afraid. Always think about that next step. Okay, final tips. And I am 2 minutes over. I am so sorry, but always ask questions. Don't hesitate to have questions. Have a couple prepared. Not the things that you're going to find in a blog article, not a thing that I've given you as a recruiter. Have some thoughtful questions that are going to affect how you are going to be in this role and what you need from this role. Close the interview. Ask for that feedback. Ask for what could I have done differently? Is there anything that I'm missing? Get that critical question in there. Close that interview. And then it's always nice to follow up. I love a good thank you note. I love giving a good thank you note. I love cheering you on. I promise you, I remember my candidates, and I know most recruiters do. So don't be afraid to reach out to the person interviewing you because you probably prospected them if you've done your job right? So you have their information. And if you don't, ask your recruiter. All right. I know I'm a little bit over, but I wanted to ask, do you have any questions before we start the networking? Wow. Oh,
What qualities do you think specifically we can do during the interviewing process that'll make us stand out to other people, like over other people? You know what I mean?
so the question, if I'm understanding that correctly, is what can make you stand out versus someone else? I'm going to actually flip the script on you because each one of you was individually something different, and we're not looking for a cookie cutter. So it's hard to say, I'm going to compare you to someone else, but we are looking for those attributes. So show us the growth mindset, show us your sales desire, show us what makes you you, show us ownership, resiliency, those things. And we will tell you what attributes we are testing you on ahead of time. So you can put those into AI and give 5 questions, say, hey, give me some tough questions on what this attribute would be. So you can kind of predict. But as far as comparing you, that's not what we do. So no. Did I, that, all right, I just want to make sure that I answered it because I don't want you to think I'm going to be comparing you because each person is their own person. So, all right, 1 second.
So I'm curious to learn a little bit more about the AI programming part. What exactly did you guys program it to like look for or things to know? Like how do you get past that AI round?
Great question. This AI is not testing you. We are not testing you. We are making the human decision. So it's not going to be making the decision for you. It's going to ask questions about what are you looking for? When are you looking to start? Tell me about a time that you've encountered some adversity, those types of questions. It will not be judging anything you're doing. We have full ownership of this as recruiters. So don't worry that that's going to eliminate you in that way. Yes. Okay. So the question was, are we watching and reviewing the videos? We are, every single one of them. So, but it's not recorded video. It's only audio. So it's no video at this time. It's just, you're going to conversate with the AI. It's going to give you some questions, some basic questions, and it's going to help us understand what you're looking for. Does that make sense? Does that cover the questions? Okay.